Good afternoon. Just give me a second. You, Mike. On your coach, yeah. Good afternoon, guys. All right, just come up to 4, then we get started. Okay, not a problem. Just listening in. I understand that. So it's 4 o'clock. Let's get started. Okay, it's a bit of a quiet afternoon. No big surprise there because you say it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day today, which basically means it's a public holiday in the States. So it was a bit quiet. The dollar did its usual thing, bounced up, came off a bit, bouncing up a bit. It's a bit sideways, so just settling down after last week's turbulence. Okay, but we got a couple of ideas up. The AUD, will start alphabetically, the AUD NZD. Never got to anywhere near what we want to get in at, so we'll put that. Delete any pending orders, forget about that one. It's gonna, I'm not sure it's gonna trigger. Don't like leaving pending orders forgotten about in the market and then suddenly gets triggered and it suddenly bounces the wrong way or whatever. So I think just maybe just laugh that off and have a look at it tomorrow. AUD, USD, I think we're both right and we're both wrong at the same time. It's not really going up, it's not really going down. We'll look at a short at 50. I think it came down enough to take us in. This 11 o'clock this morning, yeah, I would have done. So it might have taken us in now at 50, and now it's 59. So you're 9 pips the wrong way. Some guys thought it might be up. So if they got at 51, there'd be a couple of pips up, and the guys went short, a couple of pips down. But I think it's too early to call who's right or whatever on this one. But we'll let it run for the moment. Just get a neutral, a bit of background noise there. As always, finding companies you want to chat, please do. I enjoy it when you do, but just mind to unmute. A lot easier then. Okay, so yeah, it's can't really shout too loud, and that's a bit sideways. Popped up a fair bit earlier on. What about a 69? A little higher, in fact. See it come up to 71 at one stage, and then it popped down. And it's hovering around. Dollar can't make its mind up, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. We've got the trade out. We'll see how it works out. Dollar yen tore off to the north, which is good. And then it came back, and then it's came back practically to entry point again, and then decided. I think I can't remember. Came back to. I know it came back quite a bit. I'll tell you now. It came back. Came back to this level here, 128.09, 128.10 or something, and then decided to start back up. And oh god, here we go all over again. Anyway, it's in profit, so that's the main. So dollar yen's in profit. The next one on the list was the euro. 45.03. I got it down. I just get these guys in. Hang on, sorry guys, let them in. 45.03. Where's the euro CAD? And yeah, I had a bit of profit there. What's that? Rose about just over 10 pips in profit. So as I say, it's a quiet day. Well, I'd rather be 10 pips in profit the other way around, clearly, obviously. But so I suppose that's a bit, but it's not exactly shooting the lights out. What it really did was the Japanese yen went right up, didn't it? It did pretty damn well. Went shooting up here somewhere. Yeah, right. Was that when did it go out? I think trade went out right about that time, so it really took off. And then look what happened there, and here it goes. But anyway, we've still got it, still no profits, so maybe it'll do okay. When it's as quiet as this, especially after quite a frenetic week last week and the public holiday in the States, a little bit of sort of sideways motion, but at least we're not looking too bad today. That's the major point. Okay, certainly not another week like last week. I know they occur, but hey, man, not that often, and thankfully not that often. I don't like it when it happens like that. Knowledge. Okay, all right. So that's the good old load shedding. 4 hours of fun and games now. Luckily, I've got an inverter. Those who haven't, you might have some problems if you've got load shedding for 4 hours. But anyway, so right. Some people talked about gold. I'm the pullbacks, not short it. And some guy I think actually already went in, but I'm hoping to go in on this, but along. Obviously, when I say on a long, you've got to remember if it gets back to 1900, which I'm hoping or might think it. I don't think it might never get. If it does, I want to buy it. I'm not going to jump in because it says 1900. I'm going to have a look at the DXY and the yields. If they're still holding, they're still okay. I probably will look to buying again around about 1900, somewhere around about there to take it back up. Hopefully this time it's 1920. But I think it's a bit early to jump in now. Not enough volumes and liquidity to give you much movement, a bit sideways. I think chasing it. Having said that, if you feel confident, I still see 2000, to be honest with you, down on the cards, and you can afford it. Maybe go in half a position around about now and let it run. But if you have the patience to let it run, it might be a couple of weeks. I don't know. Otherwise, just if you haven't got the money or you need the free money for other areas, rather leave it till you get a decent entry. And if you miss it, well, tough, you missed it. But I'm not sure I'll be chasing it now, and I certainly wouldn't be selling it. Okay, so that's my take on gold. Any comments? Which you're allowed to make as long as they agree with mine. If they don't agree with mine, then you can't make them. I've decided to join the Democratic Party. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding, guys. Yeah, so any comments on gold or any feelings about it? No comments? Okay, we'll move on. NAS drifting along, come off. NAS up again. Well, sort of pops up. Not exactly much happening there. No surprise there. Came down, yes. No. No, let it drift along. Let it drift along. Probably continue to drift along. Okay, Coney. I'm going to probably that funny. 1910, if you want, go back to gold. 1910. I would suggest where's 1910? Yeah, I would suggest don't go in full. I don't know what your risk is, but I'd say go in half your risk, and then you might get a better price around about 1900. So I wouldn't go in guess more than you normally would. What I'm saying. But if you go in full, it screams up. Well, lucky you. But that's what I'd do. If actually I'm going to wait till it gets back there. But if I did see, I don't want to miss it. I might squeeze in maybe half a position size. If I'm used to risking 20, I might go with 10 and then go the other 10 there, as long as the obviously DXY and the yields fall into pattern. So don't, well, let me stop anyway to protect me. That's how we should be looking at it. Because somebody posted on fire, we did very well in dollar yen today. Didn't want to spoil his party, but we're doing so well because he's grossly overexposed. If he'd gone wrong, he would not be in a big smile on his face. So rather not try and double your money in the same day, rather build your money. So when you do take the knocks, you can handle them. No problem. We don't just start down the route. So what do you want to do? Do you want to buy it or sell it? So, Busiswa, I think I've got that right. CAD, where's it? Sorry, CAD, shit. Yeah, well, might do. I'm bullish. I'm not even arguing on that. Just trying to get a decent price. Like I like your house there, Farney, but £1 million. No, hang on. £1 million. What do you get for £1 million a day? £5 million is a bit too much, but I really like it. So I'll wait till it comes back to 4.5. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. It's the sell zone. stop up here, 65 pips, take it back down here. No, yeah, take it back down here. Now you get a risk reward, yeah. Only problem, the 10-day moving average, the magenta line there is holding. Very indecisive today. We've got quiet markets due to the US holiday. So yeah, could well come off. I think at the moment, technically speaking, it's sell the rally, there's no doubt about it. How long's it going to last? I don't know. And CHF is still reasonably strong. It's been a week, couple of days now, but I think it's a couple of weeks now. But I think it might strengthen up. I tend to hear you on the sell, but my problem is this: this is holding. I personally, maybe been clucking chicken here. I think it's more prudent, and I think even the pros will say a bit more prudent to wait for a bit more confirmation before diving in. We haven't had any follow through about the buyers coming in on Friday or today. I think just hang 5 on that. If you buy it, where's the target? Target up here, 50 pips away. Stop down here, 30 pips. You can't get a risk reward, and your target is too nearby, and it hasn't broken it yet. So the buy at the moment would have to be a confirmed close the day before above there. So we're on the daily, correct? Yeah, the daily. So it's got to open up. If that opened up above here, with the entire candle, including the wick was above here, start to move up, I would agree with the buy. Until that happens, you can't put a buy in there. You can, but your maths are all wrong. It would not be a good trade idea. You like that, funny? That wouldn't be a good trade idea. So this is something at the moment, technically to short it. Then again, we haven't got the confirmation. So putting that together, it's back to sitting on one's fence, sitting one's hat on the fence. I'll put it another way, Siswa and Jacob, I think it's better, hopefully better fish to fry elsewhere. Yeah. Because don't forget, part of trade is looking at your risk reward as well as equity management. Okay. Okay, right. So we covered the ones we're in so far. We will revisit them later on. It is quiet, I'm afraid, so that the trading room might be a bit quiet today from a trading perspective, which obviously I can't control that. When the US market closed and it's sideways, we don't want to be tempted. And I think that's normally the hit rate on trading days. I look back, it's over 80% correct signals. Where it goes wrong is we try to push them on when either nothing's happening, we're trying to get out of boredom, or when there's fund is coming out, we're trying to get clever with them and they come back and bid. So I think rather do clarification. When I say I've got to make sure my words are correct. Trading, people say, well, I thought that was for the classes. Yes, it is, but we can go over some stuff, not a problem, for clarification purposes. Just to you know, put some practice theory, what a couple of lines on there. As long as I don't go in a full-on trading session, just you know, clarify a few things. A few Q&A, just so you're not sure about something and you're a guy, so just come in here. If it's too much involved, say go to class. If it's not, I'll try and answer it. Yeah, etc. Unless of course you find something worth doing. Well, the first question I've got to ask you, if anyone asks me about the Dow, is, to be honest, how much money have you got? There's too many people going for the Dow with insufficient capital. You cannot trade the Dow unless you got. You can, but I suggest you don't. With capital of, I think, in my opinion, a min of 8,000. The problem with the Dow is, remember, let's go and start off with this again. Specifications. Right click, it says 10. So the contract size on the Dow is 10. So the one contract is 343,000 US dollars exposure. And go back to gold. We all know gold's about 1,900. Contract size 10. So 1.0 on gold is $19,000 exposure. 1.0 on Dow is $343,000 exposure. Very different ball game. What's $343,000? That's about 5 million rand. So a standard contract gives you your control. You're exposed to 5 million rand worth of the Dow Jones. If you do it on 1.0 on the the gold, call it 1,900. That's 19,000. Sure, call it 20,000 in life easier. What's that about? 20,200. It's about 310, some about just over 300,000 rand. Compare 300,000 exposure to 5 million. Different ball game. So we're now going to give you an example again. Unless you're going to trade, let's do this. So let's go for the Dow. I look at more like a sell, but I'd be I'm a bit iffy on both sides of the coin at the moment. But I think it might come off a bit. But anyway, go back now. I've got the Dow here, right? So we're going to do a Dow trade. Just an example. We'll go buy or sell. We'll do a sell if you like. Let's do a sell. What the hell? Okay, so we're going to put the stop. Going to make it out of the way. Make sure it's not too close. It's too close. Make it up here. So where is the stop there? And then we're going to put the TP down here. That should do it. 33980. That's a short. Sorry about that. We have to stop again, just put in the right place. That should do it. All right. Right, so for 1 micro, 360. I normally say if you've got 5 grand in your account, you should be looking at risk on about 300 rand on your balance maximum. So you'd maybe not 8 grand. I think you'd be looking in the region of about 6 to 7 grand balance. And then you've got to make sure you've got enough free margin after you've put the order in for 1 micro, remember, so you can not get margin call in the ups and downs of the market, if you see what I mean. So it's up to you. It's your money. If you've got a 501 account, if you've got 600 or 700 grand in your account, you could probably get in for a micro. But if that goes, well, today probably a bit quiet, but if it opens up past 4, could easily open 150 pips either side, and you're going the right way. Your trade ID was great, but now your whole entire account's blasted because 150 pips is 15 US dollars, which is about 60% of your entire account. Not a cool idea. So I'm happy to talk about the Dow or the NAS, but I want people to understand, because I know we've got an enormous amount of people who want to respect very, very small accounts. I have to make it very clear to them they're getting into the sexy stuff, like the sexy Ferraris, without having the ability to basically financially drive at that speed. So just bear that in mind. So I don't know what your account size and procedure, well, you probably can share with us because that's your business, but you've got to ask yourself, if I've got 2 or 3 grand, if you touch the Dow, you'll get lucky one day and you blow your account the next. It's far, far too volatile and far too big for accounting small size. But if you've got a decent sized account, well, with pleasure, we'll talk it. Not just you, anybody there. But I want to make it absolutely crystal clear. You'll see an enormous amount of guys going into who don't come to the trading room, go into the NAS and the Dow with peanuts accounts, and it's ending up in tears. Because if you're right, it's a short, you could, and the noise will knock you out. If it's not just your stop, can even margin call you. Can you put the stop there? You never enough money, but you margin call you there before you got anywhere near that, before it comes in the right direction, but you're not on board anymore. I hope that all makes sense. If anyone who doesn't understand that, please tell me, because you've got to understand it, or you're going to the road to the poorhouse is going to be rather quick and fast. Fast in the Dow, I tell you. You've got to understand what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I do go a bit quickly, but I'm saying that is your risk. 368 per micro. That means you need 6 grand in your account. You've got a grand in your account, that's nearly 40% of the entire account being exposed to 1, and you get margin call way below that. And you've got a 500 to 1 highly leveraged account. So you're already in something else. You've only got enough free margin to cover it and bang. And some guys even gone bigger. I've seen guys literally 12, 11, 12, 15 rand in their account, highly leveraged account, and going literally 3 on the Dow, 0.03. That's just saying, please margin call me. You get my point. And that's not even if you're right or wrong. They gave you a long thought. That's just the up and down movement. We call it the noise. Anybody not understand that? I can slow it down a bit or get someone else to explain it better. But it's imperative you understand what I'm talking about here. This is, in fact, it's vital. Too many unnecessary tears created. Yeah, with all due respect, Eugene, you've got a couple more bucks in. I'm just worried about the guys who think they can start going to the trading world with the money that can buy maybe a meal out in a restaurant. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to get people to understand the limitations of being undercapitalized. Before you're making 65 in the indices. Now I come to the trading room, you're not. Oh, thanks very much. That's it. I'm not sure about that. Thanks for sharing that with me. And I feel really terrible. Sorry about that. Don't forget, there's guys like I mentioned there. Let's say, obviously, don't mention names. He's on top of the world because he's made a horrendous return. Because when the Japanese yen is about, I don't know, 3K in his account, and he's gone in with 4 minis, not micros, minis, not hard. So that's $4 or about 70 rand a pip movement on a $3 account. It went well, and he's smiling. But that gone the other way, he's not going to have. He's blown his account. You know what I mean? Do not go on. If you walk into the casino with 1,000 rand, you put it bang on red, it comes up black. You leave the casino in 2 seconds' time. Oh, minus. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I thought before I came to the trade, I made 65 indices. Now I've been listening to all that rubbish that Robert's talking. Now I'm not doing anything. I thought, oh, I was deeply upset. I see what you mean. Don't worry, I can laugh at myself. There's a lot to laugh at. I know, Eugene, so I've got a lot to laugh at. So I've got a lot of material there to laugh at, so I can laugh at myself. But yeah, no, that's fine. And again, I'm telling you right now, the guys have been here a long time. I say, in fact, Roger says it again. I'm going to get through the virtual way, come around and shoot him. But again, it's incorrect volume, overexposure, incorrect position size. And it's nothing to do with your brains, your intelligence, your experience, your knowledge, or whatever. Something about it that people feel when they get a Ferrari, they can't really drive, or a Formula One car, they've got to drive it 350 Ks, where they know or do not know how to drive the taxi. Because of course it's fun. You want to drive slow. But unfortunately, until you can drive like a Formula One driver, and you haven't got other cars on the road except all going the same way, like in a race, rather not. This is the group where you learn trading. I don't understand the question. If you mean where you come, where you're trained how to trade, then you buy a course, you go to the classes, get the basics, and then you use that basic knowledge you picked up. You don't have to go into great detail, can if you want. Basic knowledge you pick up where you come to the trade room and put that knowledge into practice. Because a lot of guys say, well, I haven't got much money and I can't afford to buy a course, so someone do it for free. Well, first, before I do it for free, just go into a shop next time. Say, look, man, I'm a bit broke. Can you give me a goods for free? We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, like everything in life, it's got to be something to trade on. And yeah, so yeah, you'll pick it up here. It's a long process if you don't know the basics. Position sizing, margin, what does it mean? The implication of margin calling. What we talk, we say derivatives. What is leverage? How do you work out the leverage? What basics do you need? What's a lot size? What's the difference between a mini and a micro? That stuff you'll learn in the classes. To try and do that, it's like saying, I fancy me being a surgeon. I haven't done the course yet, but I've got this knife in my hand. I'll charge a special price. You allow me to take your appendix out. You might get a lot of people not being too keen. You know, you've got to have some basics. Hope that makes sense. Must admit, I've changed the subject. I'm at Eugenia. So must have got a bit weary after that, muddy lot. But I tell you right, Eugene, it's probably experience. You might be backing me up on this and else there. Can be honest, you say most of the hiccups have come not for lack of intelligence, not lack of experience. It's just incorrect position size. Okay, Bully, fantastic. At least you took the trouble to go in there. I can, but you can't. Sorry about that. Only joking. Yeah, incorrect. That's why we have this. I go on about it. It's a reason why I go on about it. I'm not saying wasting my breath because people still do it. I suppose it's their money if they want to, but don't cry afterwards. I mean, everyone wants to build Rome in a day, as they say. And I'm looking at Propeller, not Euro-XZT, idiot. Propeller on the watch list when I can find it. Cracking up here. Euro NZD. All right, do you want to sell it? Okay, let's have a look. Sell this one. Let's have a look. What are we? Are we on the daily? Just make sure. Yep, let's crunch a little bit. Right. Some of the guys have been here a little bit. Anyone have a bit of confidence? I'll unmute you to take us through it from what you've learned. Maybe someone, we find anybody who's been in the trading room for a month or more feels confident to voice an opinion on this. by unmuting. And then nice to hear another voice other than mine, probably sick of my voice. So let's see if you can pick up some of the stuff there and have the bravery to unmute and give what you think about a sell on this one. Whether you agree, and if you do, great, and what reasons why, or you disagree, why, leave it alone, buy it, any of those. What just like sort of the confidence to take over on that. And after that person, if someone I know is finally fairly confident, or Anne-Marie's fairly confident, but it'd be nice somebody else who gets that. Brady's fairly confident, but I'd like those three to do it, but I like someone else just to have a go, unless they're complete beginners and guess it. And rather someone's a little bit experienced, overcome the nerves, and just take us through, and then we can discuss it afterwards. There aren't many trades out today, and I think that might be a massive. Actually, come back, Mbulu. That would be a massive learning curve on that. In fact, more I think about it, probably learn more by discussing it that way and taking a few notes and going through hordes and hordes of literatures and YouTubes and God knows what. There's quite a few spikes, yeah. It's like my ex-wife's tongue, very sharp. Okay, so anyone want to, you can unmute, unmute you guys. Anyone want to have a chat? Make sure I haven't got all that chit chat. You're not going on national TV, there's only a few people here. Well, it's recorded, I suppose. And I know it's incredibly popular. I was getting about 1 million likes, you know. Oh, I wish. But joking apart, anyway, do you want to have a go? Brady, Farney, what would you want to do with this and the reasons why? Leave it alone, buy it or sell it. Because if you interact, you learn far more than sit back and say, I'm a bit scared. Because you're a bit scared, maybe this is not for you, because this is definitely need a bit of courage to do this. So we call ourselves trading Marines. I need someone to interact, but are confident. What do you reckon? Not Eugene, because I know you're busy at work, I get that.
Okay, Roger, I will.
Okay, good for you.
Right.
Brilliant. What about you? Good man.
As it stands, it's above the 200, 100, so it's more in the buying zone. Number two, there's a lot of indecision with regards to, if you look at the long weeks. The euro is definitely the stronger of the two currencies. So I would buy it, but I will wait for the pivot point to break through a clear break around about 1703.
Not one word of that I would argue with. Agree with everything. It's come back, test supports, getting no follow through to the north. The comps to buy it. It's clear in the buy zone now. So what makes me think I'm going to sell it? And look at the maths again. If you sold it down there, what's your potential profit? Take you there. 80 pips. What's your potential risk? 90 pips. So to go short, even if it was a good idea, which it isn't, you haven't got the maths against you. It's the risk reward. I'll do it. It's the only option you have is an up. Leave it alone. One. Yeah, I agree on the leave it alone. But if we're going to do it up, but I want a confirmation up this sort of level, like you mentioned, round about the round figure. I need a confirmation for jumping in. Then I can put a stop down below the support resistance area and take it up there somewhere till I find a bit of resistance or whatever. Absolutely, I agree with that. Anybody see? You saw a sell, Bopello. Do you understand now why we consider it not a sell? Now, Bopello, you decided to sell. What makes you think it should sell? You might have a very good opinion the other way. Like who is it? Marius today said that that he would like to go for a long on AUD USD because that's what he thought. And that's fair enough. We want those sort of discussions, but not because I feel so or whatever, but some sort of opinion. So that's I'm with Farney on that one. So what do you think, Bopello? You want to short it? Can we hear your reasons why? And you might be quite right. I might change my mind, agree with you. We'll get a risk reward up and say, well done. We've got a great trade in here. So what makes you feel you'd like to short it? Spikes, wicks, don't care, Anna-Marie. Both are correct. No problem. The problem is, let's get out the mystique of the jargon. The idea behind this is being understood. That's the most important. Call it what you like, as long as you understand it. I went for a sell because I'll be trading a sell today. Sorry, Buffett, I think you'll need a bit more than that to convince me. That's not going to twist my arm to change my mind from what I mentioned earlier on. Anybody else have anything to offer on that? Because you're all still confused, you're not learning. I don't want you to blow money on it. I want you to learn and understand why you're doing it. We'll say we're not in the army. You're not doing it because I say so. You're doing it because you think it's a good idea. What? And the NZ, what trading signal is this? A Euro NZD. Where do you get a Euro NZD trading signal from? I said it, said it. I said it. Oh, that's EuroCAD. We've got the Euro NZD. I thought you were talking about Euro NZD. Yeah, you're talking about the Euro NZD. What's that? That's it. What's the EuroCAD got to do with this one? Sorry, I'm missing it here. So you thought if the EuroCAD's a sell, maybe this one is. Was that the thinking behind it? You didn't want to mention EuroCAD. I was confused before, now I'm completely confused. Okay, so anybody have any comments on this one brought up and mentioned here? Thank you very much, by the way, to look at it. And can anyone see what Farney said there? And do you agree with it? Do you think it makes sense? Does anyone disagree with it? Think it's completely incorrect. It should be blah, blah, blah. Let's have a look. Maybe look at the weekly. Might have a completely different opinion there. Weekly looks a bit more like a sell, doesn't it? Give you that. Let's look at the 4 hour. Still a buy on the 4 hour. So the only one maybe a sell is the weekly. Sorry, is the weekly. That seems to be holding on the weekly. It's the only one indicates maybe it's reached its top line, but there's no confirmation yet. It's a hang five on it. Okay. Okay, so we agree. All right, that's good enough. All right, we'll move on and leave it. EuroCAD is a sell, and it's not shooting the lights out like that. I grant you. At least it's still a couple of pips in profit, but it's very indecisive. At least okay-ish. Right. What else have we got? We discussed the others. Right. Is the gold doing anything? It's not really pulling back much. Maybe 1910 is not such a bad idea, Friday, to be honest. I'm not sure we're going to get 1900 out of it. But still, it's so slow today. I think be a little bit wary. Americans come back and it might suddenly come fine off before going up again. Be a little bit wary. When it's very, very thin volume trading, it's almost like New Year or Christmas Eve or whatever. Be a little bit wary. Okay. I remember when you get very thin trading, sometimes a big player comes in and they can shift the market disproportionately. If you know what I mean. Hope you all know what I mean by that. There's only about 100,000 rand volume. Some with 30, 40,000 shift the market. It's a R1 trillion volume. A gun with 50, 60,000 rand won't make much of a dent. You get a general idea. Liquidity is also important. Volumes. Thinly trade at the moment. Okay, fair enough. Hope you understood. But as I say, it's 5:30 now. And all the shares, by the way, we've no point looking now because, well, we can't work a candle light. No point because it's all closed. The NAS is open because it's the futures. Remember, we're talking about spot and futures. Google the difference in spot and futures so you know. This is futures. The spot guys, the cash guys, they open up at 4:30. Not today because it's closed. That's why, as you can see, the action is pitiful as compared to normal. It's been open now for 3 minutes and it's moved about 10 pips, which is insignificant on the normal opening. So that's the point. Okay. I wouldn't get too cute with any of them. Dow, NASDAQ, or S&P or anything till we get some more clearer movements tomorrow. Now, on the economy side, there's nothing happening today whatsoever. Tomorrow, oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Governor Bailey speaking at 5 on the pound. Okay, so weird. Right. Okay. Tomorrow we've got stuff coming out from China, from the UK, GBP, and the euro, and we're getting something on Canada. So keep an eye on that. I'll copy and post it so you can keep an eye on it. For those who don't have it, I'm sure there's one or two don't have it, so I'll just put that on for you. The economic calendar, guys. There we are. And you hear us talking all the time about the dollar index. Here you are. I'll give it to you. Simple as that. So you got it there handy. We have the tools. Let's do the job, as they say. Okay. Do you all know about specifications? Get the details, the margins, and all the rest of it. Go to specifications. Get the details. You don't want to go into if that said 1 million on one broker and another 100,000, another 10,000. It's a very different ball game. Like gold is 100 contracts and a lot of brokers. So if you're working out on contract 10 and you go in based on that, you go with 100 contract, you're 10 times, 1,000% overexposed. Can't bite. Bear that in mind. This one I did like. Not many people seem to like it. Maybe not the pound coming up tomorrow. This one I did like for a sell at 113.50. I know we took it. Didn't seem too keen, so we left it. But it seems to be okay. But I'm changing my mind about getting cute with it at the moment. Because it's battling to break through here. Technically, very liquid. I've got pound stuff coming out in the pound tomorrow. So maybe just leave the pound alone for the moment. Okay, I hope you're all with me. I'm not going too quick. Aussie dollar's doing absolutely sod all. Yeah, going nowhere. Remember that TV program? Going nowhere slowly. A bit like that. So tomorrow, please show us the system of trading. And we'll actually. Okay, but the I can do that up to a point. But it's a bit like saying, I want to be a doctor. Can you just give me a quick rundown how to be a doctor? Well, all right, this is not supposed to be a doctor or an engineer. I get that. What scientists come to that. But it's a bit more than we'll get a quick run through on the whole trading aspect in tomorrow morning's meeting. Unfortunately, a bit more to it than that. So it will take, I'm afraid, boring, I know, a bit of time. You've got to attend and take notes, ask questions like you're doing, and you pick it up as you go along. I don't know if anyone's come up and said all you got to do is buy the course, get a trade idea, go to the trading room, and then, hey, presto, the money pours in. I'm sorry, but that's not quite as simple as that. Yeah, so yeah, you'll pick it up as you go along. But when you're questioning, you've got to be specific. Again, like I mentioned, you go to the doctor and say, I'm sick. You'll be specific. Say, I've got a big lump in my arm. Don't say, I'm sick. You need to be more specific. So the person you're asking can understand exactly what you're looking at and give a direct answer. If there's too many ambiguities involved, you're not, then it's not, the question's not properly asked. You act on it, and you've acted on the wrong information because I answered the information was asked, and that's not what you meant. So you've got to be clear in your request, and you've got to be open some detail on a specific area. So I can't just say, I think I'll spend tomorrow morning teaching how to trade. Even if you didn't have a stock market college course, why would anyone buy it if you can be taught in the morning? In fact, it wouldn't have any value. If I could teach this in the morning, it would have no value. It would be basically unskilled, and unskilled does not attract money. If you have no skill, you're not going to earn. The higher the skill, the higher the money. That's why Messi earns more. Yeah, well, that's fair enough. If you like trading, you have an interest, it's a step one. But to become a pro takes a bit of time. I took a bit of time for me. I mean, I've gained a lot in the last few years. The exams I took are more to the point. The amazing technology we got was not so easy a few years ago. In fact, changed a lot in the last 7 or 8 years, never mind 10 years, you know. But yeah, I don't doubt it. But, you know, to be a pro anything, it takes a little bit of time. But you'll get there if you stick it out. Come to classes, ask questions like you're doing, pick it up as you go along. Okay. Okay. Right, so that's not much happening there. You're not much yen happening there. Sort of hovering the profit, slightly up, so that's good. As it was earlier on. I mean, it's up nicely on the trade, but it's up a little bit more in the last half hour. That's good. Leave indices alone, like I mentioned. Yeah. Okay. Anyone like to join in, like Bapello, ask a few questions? We can spend some time usefully doing that. Unless you have a trade idea, but you've done it before, you might do it again. You might spot something. What a pleasure. Until that occurs, maybe we can do some Q&As to clarify some practical areas.
Hi, Roger.
Yeah, go for it. Great stuff. Go for it.
Sorry, I didn't. I was a bit late on the Zoom meeting. Did you talk about USD JPY already, or didn't you?
Is this Scott?
Yes.
Hi, Scott. Good day to you.
All right.
Couple of questions, Scott. Have you been trading before?
Yes, I've been trading. I've got the trading signal this morning, and I'm in on it. So I just want to get your feeling about that trade.
Okay, I'll answer in a second. There's no big rush. I say trade before. What I'm actually trying to establish, have you been trading for a year, 6 months, 3 months? Are you brand new?
About a month and a half, Roger.
Okay, that's fine. Good. Just so I know. You said I've been trading for about the last 2 years. I can start answering that person the questions they asked. Very different. A guy said he'd been doing it for 1 week, if you get my point.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
It makes sense. I need to know that, otherwise I'm not blinding but science to confuse the hell out of you. And have steam coming out of your ears. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Roger.
Okay, right. Right. Well, we got in this morning quite rightly, as it turned out. Just over 128, around about that figure. So it's up nice. It's bopping around. It's still bopping around a bit, but every time it comes down, it seems to be going up. The same with the dollar index. Obviously, the dollar index is strong. It's going to force the dollar up, which means the yen is the other side of the seesaw, will come off a bit. So the bottom line is, I don't think you should be buying here. So if you miss the trade, the ship was sailed. I hope everyone knows I mean that, because they say, what do you mean the ship was sailed? I mean, well, you can't board the ship because it's sailed. The ship was sailed. You've got to say, let's buy this at 128. The signal says 0.0, and it's 40 pips above that. All the risk reward, everything's out of kilter. So you have to do the whole risk reward again. The ship was sailed. Doesn't mean to say you can't get in there, because it might go up way above the TP. You might go back into a bull run of the dollar. I'm not so sure that's going to happen, to be honest. I think it's a momentary bounce. I still think the dollar's looking, it might even come off down to 100 or so, to be honest, down the line. But it's a bit of a bounce on the sharp movement down the last couple of days, or last week rather. So bottom line is, if you're in, if you got in the proper price. Now, I don't know what price you got in at. You might have chased it. So I can't say put up to entry. I don't know what your entry was. So I need some more information now. What price did you enter the trade?
Roger, I did it 20 minutes after you
guys said, I don't care what time you went in. I need to know the price. What was your
price I went in is 127.972.
Well, yeah, brilliant. You went a better price. Remember, when you enter trade, if I say buy, well, I suggest, sorry, I'm advising or suggesting buy at 128.00 and the price is 127.95 or something, that's a better price. So what a pleasure. You definitely go in a market. If it's 128.05, that's not much difference. Depending where the stop loss, you've got to do the math. It won't be a 30 pip stop loss, but let's pretend it's a 30 pip stop loss and you went in 5 pips above. 5 on 30 is what? About 12%. So 12% differential, you can't chase it. But if the stop loss is about 100, the TP is about 200, and it's 10 pips above, you could probably chase it. 20, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, absolutely not, because that ship was sailed. Hope you understand what I mean by that. So you got in a lovely price there. What I'm going to suggest you do is, to cover your costs, I suggest you put it up to 128 on the nail. And you got in at 127.96 or something, so that should cover your costs. So modify your stop to 128, and you've taken the risk out of the trade. So now you can relax a bit. Say if it gets stopped out, well, I haven't lost. If it gets stopped out and I'm riding it, I'm going to make a profit. Now, let's say we get a continual movement, which I'm a little bit wary of the dollar going upwards, to be honest. And be up for it, fine. I think unless something radical happens, I think it's going to come back at some stage. If this starts easing up more towards the for 28, 60, 70, it might be worth either cutting your position or if you don't want to do that, moving your stop up a little bit. You need to keep at least 30 pips away. The problem with that can occur again. It goes up to 128.70. You modify your stops 30 pips away, as Roger in the trader mentioned, 128.40, comes down, stops you out, and next thing you wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, it's 129. Now you're a bit fed up. Well, there's no guarantees. I'm just saying, playing a bit safe to modify the stop. It's your choice. If you like to keep the wider stop, you believe in the trade, leave it 128. If it gets to 129, I'll be a bit surprised the way the bloody dollar's moving at the moment. Let's say it does, then you might start saying, even though my TP is 130, maybe take some off the table, cut your position. The reason being is it's quite a strong psychological 129 area. The DXY, unless it's screaming up, then you ignore it. It's coming off a bit, it might get a pullback, like it got this morning, got to about 128.80 or something. So that's the sort of way you should be looking at it. You need to take into account for a dollar position, even on the DXY. You need to keep an eye on it. So if it's getting up to 129, it's a psychological round figure. Where's 129? The psychological round figure, where's that? Right about there. Yeah, right about there. There's a little bit, not much, a bit of resistance. And you see the DXY is coming off quite a bit. It might be an idea to take it or move the stop up, in this case, say 20 pips below market and halve your position. I take it everyone knows how to cut the position. Never close entire position. You can cut it. Everyone in the trading room, in the platform trading, should have learned that. So in other words, you've got, let's say, 5 units. You don't have to sell the entire 5. You can bank 3 and let the other 2 run. Does everybody know that? Do you know that, Scott? Did you know you could do that? I'm pretty sure some.
Roger, I didn't know that.
Okay, right. It's quite simple. I'm pretty sure some other people don't. So we don't have a trade idea at the moment. So if you don't mind, the guys who know that, bear with me, Farney and Company and Giza. Just bear with me for the other guys. They should learn the platform training, just to cover it quickly now. What you do is you go into your own position at the bottom here. I haven't got this in my demo account. Just pretend I have. Okay. Right. You've got your own positions here. Right. What you do is not the box where the stop loss at TP is. That's modified. Anywhere but that. So let's make it here. Double click on it and the box comes up. Right? Do it with me if you like. Thanks, Jesus. Thanks for your patience, the other guys. We all started sometime, eh? So go not with the SL clearly on the TP is. Doesn't matter time, doesn't really matter. Somewhere on there, double click and the box comes up. You'll see the yellow thing closed. Well, you don't click the yellow, you go to volume. Now, obviously, if you've got 1 micro, that's the minimum. You can't part close that. You can't go any smaller than that. But let's say you got 2 micros or more. Let's pretend you got 10 micros or 1 minute. It's going up to the 129 I mentioned. You're getting a bit nervous. The XY is coming off. You move your stop to maybe 128.80 and maybe you want to bank 0.05 and let the other 0.05 run. Okay? You put in the volume there, 0.05. And then you go to the yellow bar there, left click on it, out button, and then you've closed 5 minute micros, and you'll see it change down here. Positions instead of 0.1 will be 0.05. I'll do it again if you don't know, because it staggers me they're not picking this up in the platform training or wherever they're doing their video learning, and they think they're going to close the entire amount. No, you don't. Why would you do that? You need some money, and you've got 100 shares. Why have you sell all 100? You sell 50 if you want. Keep the rest, it's up to you. Anyone not clear on that, I'll do it again. It's very important. It's not that difficult, it's actually quite simple. And let's say it's all right for me to do it many times, but it's serious, it's quite simple. Anyone not know that? Anyone want to do that? Anyone not clear on that? Don't say, oh, yeah, I'm too scared to ask, and then not learn, and then say I want to be a pro trader. You won't. If you don't know, you've got to ask, or you won't be a pro. So anyone not clear on that, we'll happily do it again because it's important. Like the DXY, I don't put it up for fun. Anyone, anyone, did you get that? You're the person, Scott, did you get that?
Yes, Roger, thank you very much. I didn't know that and it kept bothering me, but now I've got it, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Now, I'm talking about a laptop. If you're on a phone, different ballgame. But if you're trying to trade with a phone, rather get a laptop because you need the tool for the job. But if a car mechanic comes around to fix my car with a plastic spanner they lose credibility. So get yourself the right equipment. Go into your open trade, the one, you might have 3 or 4 of them. Pick the one you want to partly close, and then not on the SL and TP, double click, and a box comes up. Now, you've got, let's say, 0.04, 0.04 is 4 microns, right? So you've got 5 micros sitting there. You want to bank 2 of them. So you double click, up it comes, put in the volume 0.02, click on the yellow bar at the bottom, bang. To a bank, you got the other 2 running. And then it goes up a bit further, modify your stop loss, modify your TP. You're getting a bit nervous, bank 1, now you got 1 left until either you close it or you stopped out or whatever. Anybody not clear on that?
Sorry, Roger, I'm talking a lot now. Can we up our volume, or can we just reduce it?
No. What you can, yes, you can. Sorry, you can up, but it's a separate trade. So you've gone in, you've got a fat finger, right? You meant to go in a 0.1, right? But by mistake, because it defaults the previous trade at 0.01, you click the buy button and you're at 0.01. So what do? You need the one you want is 10 minutes, 1 minute or 10 micros. All you do is go to that, open up another trade, and you say 0.09, and then buy that. Put your SL and TP as per normal, same as the previous trade. 9 and 1 is 10, so that's all you got it. Okay. If you want to increase the volumes by saying, I got it 140.28, and I like this, I want to buy some more at this price, I've modified my stop to 128. So I've covered my position on this one in case I lose. I can't now. It's cut my, it's cut my downside. So I can go there and open up another one and do it accordingly. So it's opening up a new order, or you could reduce volume. It's clear now, isn't it? Anybody not? That makes sense. Okay. Brilliant. It becomes some useful stuff. Sounds a quiet day. We cover useful stuff because people either didn't know the question to ask. That's why it's good if somebody asked, and I thought everyone knew it and they didn't, or I forgot to mention it myself, and somebody else said, that's a good idea, I didn't know that. And then thank you. Little tidbits like that could be sometimes more important reading page and page analysts, you know what I'm saying? So that's fine, you all know that. You all know that when you talk about the dollar rand or anything to do with the rand, it's called an exotic, which means it's a far higher deposit or margin. So don't do it on small accounts. You have any money left, trade anywhere else. And number 2 is about 650 a micro margin. So if you've got 500, you won't be able to do it if you wanted to. And number 2, it's more costly to do it with all exotics worldwide because they're not as, shall we say, well, they're certainly not as liquid. Sometimes they're not as volatile, but often they're more volatile. The problem is not as liquid. The countries you're dealing with not as stable. Let's say Germany is more stable, shall we say, economically, or perceived to be, whether it's or not another story. Perceived to be is probably the better way of putting it than, let's say, the ZAR or South Africa. So as a result, it'll be higher costs, higher deposits for the market maker to cover himself, like the collateral. Remember, deposit on margin is purely the collateral for the market maker to cover himself. Okay. Like when you buy a car. I want to buy a car, Scott, for 200 grand, and you're a car dealer. Yeah, unless I'm a credit-worthy millionaire, then I'll probably buy cash. But I want to buy an HP. You're going to want some deposit. That's the collateral. That's why the worse you trade your credit record, the higher the deposit, because you're more of a risk. That's all the margin is, by the way, so you know. Okay, so you're clear now. That's good stuff. Now, I just want to mention something here. Ask a question that comes first. But just going back to a question made here by Bupello. So is Louise, whatever her name is, still part of Quick Trade? Right. I don't know who Louise is, but I suspect she's a salesperson. They come and they go. I'm going to bring basically on to they come and they go. They are there to sell the courses. They're not licensed to advise. They cannot be a trading mentor. To be a trading mentor, you've got to do what's called the RE5 exam, Regulated Exam 5. Then you've got to do what's called the RP, or Regulated Persons, what it stands for, module. And then there's 4 I had to do, which is financial markets, honesty, integrity, equity markets, and derivative markets. When you've done that, you go 2 years under supervision before you can advise. The person advising this company at the moment is the KI, but he's busy managing it. My lawyer, the key individual, they manage it, and I get involved in the trading. So you've got to come to me. You cannot, if anybody else gives you a trading signal, it's not one of the ones I posted, they're not allowed to do it. So if you get a trading signal from one of the people there sent to you, it's got to be one of the ones I posted because they're not allowed to. They are account managers, which they're phase, remember, financial advisory intermediary service. They're all intermediary. So they can say, buy this course, or I'll help you open up an account, etc. If they can do all that with you, or help me deposit money and do all that. But if you say, should I buy the Euro NZD, they have to pass them to me. They're not allowed to do it. They're not qualified. Somebody say they don't know. Don't, but that's another story. But just give a piece of paper doesn't mean to say you know, but it's sort of a legal thing, if you like. So I hope that's all clear. So anything to do with trade advice, you have to come to me. If you go to them, they will pass to you. So when you see, if they give you a trade idea, that would have come from us, or from me, actually, to be honest. Don't mean to say I originate all of them. Farney or Propeller or Brady or Scott comes up with an idea. I looked at it, it's a brilliant idea, but it still has to be signed off by me for legal reasons before it can be sent out. Does that make sense? Like conveyancer has a conveyancing clerk in law. They can't send it out, the conveyancer's got to sign it off. Same principle. Well, if you want to do that, pretty much, we'll jump on it. Anybody here who's an IB guy sitting in here listening there, who wants to take a Propeller and deal with them and explain? I don't get involved SMC side. Anybody on this? Often get guys who are business development executives, or what they call themselves, BD guys, on there want to look into it. There might some guys join the afternoon. Anybody there? You can swap numbers and then contact and take the detail there. If not, you can WhatsApp me and I'll pass you on to the office to get somebody to contact you. Okay. I'm going to put my number on anyway. So there we are. So you can do that and I'll pass on whoever to contact you and take it from there. Roger Trading Support. WhatsApp me, please. If you get very busy, I can't spend half an hour. If it's very important, I will call you. I'll call you back. Well, I will deal with WhatsApp. 529-3431. Right. Somebody else on that subject. If nobody contacts you, stop numbers here on chat line. Otherwise, I'll pass it on to the stock market college side. They will contact you. Okay. In return, you need to WhatsApp me your details. Not here, not the chat line, privately. Now, another point I think most of you know, just in case you don't, we have two trading setups here. We have below 2.5, I think 500 2.5, and we have 2.5 and above. We call that, change it from QT group to the VIP group. What's the difference mean? If you have 2.5 or more, you'll be a member of my VIP group. That sounds very fancy. In the practical aspects, it means you'll get more signals. Why? Why? Because you can afford to take them. If you've got a grand your account, you get 3 signals, you cannot afford to take them. But you're a beginner, you don't know that. You go for them all, now you're overexposed. So the idea is 2.5, even that's the barest minimum, preferably more, to do the job properly, because capital is what it's all about. You've got 2.5 grand or more, hopefully a lot more, then you'll have the ability to deal with the amount of signals you'll get. If you haven't, you'll get a separate group where you get far less signals because you don't have the money to take them. If that makes sense. Okay, but if you haven't been able to speak to you about the course, just WhatsApp me privately, Propeller, and then I'll pass it on after the TR at 5:30. Okay, to SMC calling. Okay, right. So there's my contact details. Remember that. If you do have 2.5, you're not a member of that group, elite group, as some people like to call it. WhatsApp me, but please, I beg of you, give me your details. Don't say I was in the trade room. I'd like to remember your group. That doesn't tell me anything. Who are you? Say, no, this is John Smith, real account number 161529. I've got 4 grand in my account. I'd like to be a member of your group. Thank you very much, John. I WhatsApp the contact details and I'll update you to the group. Okay. And you'll get daily updates, economic updates in the morning. And remember, Farney, I pay you 20 grand a month, so don't let me down now. Farney says it's a wonderful group to be a member of. I'll withdraw the 20 grand a month I pay you if you don't agree with me on that. We're joking about, I think you'll enjoy the group.
20,001 rand and you're in, my friend. Boipelo, just click on that link that I put there and that will take you through to Stock Market College. And from there on, you can see what is on offer. All right.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, that's fine. And the next thing is, once you got the basic knowledge, you don't have to, you can do the rest in your own time. All I require is someone to operate the platform, knows what a PIP is, knows what margin is, knows the basics, a standard lot, exposure, specification, what that is, how to work out the margin, basics like that. Then you come to the trading room and we can develop from there. But a guy says, what's 15 pips? Or what's that funny red line? I don't mind actually a line. If you ask what that line is, I can tell you that. But explain what's the difference between a standard mini and a micro lot. What's this exposure? That's for the people who bought the course to get those basics. Okay. There's a bit more to the course than that, I'll tell you right now. But I'm happy to get the practical side once you got the grounding. I always put it like this at Hagenvine, you know what I mean? It happens a lot, unfortunately, in South Africa, where guys go to university when they scrape by a matric maths to study maths, and then when they start first university, they haven't got the background to cope. Because they don't start at the beginning, they start assuming that you've got some basic knowledge. And the dropout rate because of that is, well, I didn't go to college in this country. I saw a lady who used to go out a few years ago, whose daughter, I think was UJ, and said the dropout rate was horrendous because they just had the basics to education to be able to start off at the level they start off first year university. And that's the problems you do. And tell me anything you go into, you don't need some knowledge, basic understanding. Okay, right. So I hope that answers your question. Account manager, we all know that. To answer Boipelo's question about Louise, I haven't heard of it. Most of them have left, I think. I don't know where they are. Some of them, I don't know the name. Doesn't ring a bell anyway, but I don't know more anyway. But the bottom line is, as I say, you now know the difference between account manager and trading support, or as it says on my email, trading analyst. It sounds a bit pretentious, but I do rather like it. Okay, and the KI, I know that sounds very pretentious. That's the actual termination of the job. Key individual KI. And for that, you have to have 3 years management experience in RE1, and then you manage it. You manage the financial service provider, the FSP. So they don't. Some get wrong with trade, but not so much in the background running it. Make sure compliance is properly done. We're not going to risk our license. Get the idea, and that's why they're very, very strict on where you get that from. If you say that John Smith, the BDE guy, has been posting me signals which are completely separate to the ones I've done, there could be some flack flying. We're not allowed to. And remember, money is important. We've got to have some. I'm not licensed to practice medicine. Would you be happy to come to me as a doctor? Maybe your health is more important than finance, but bad finance often leads to bad health and worry. So it's very important. Very important. When you start university, they say, look right and left. 1 month from now, they will have quite. They'll have quite. Usually a bit there. Well, yeah. Or they say, do you want some advice? They say, yeah, look right and left before you cross the road. You say a joke. I don't know where it comes from. They're far from it, the Scotsman. It's some sort of mythology, Scotsman type. So they say, well, what's a Scotsman's tip? Like you're going to give a tip in a restaurant. Scotsman's tip is say, what about my tip? Here's my tip. Look right or left before you cross the road. When you start your day, say, look right and left 1 month from now. They'll have quite. Oh, they've left. Suits you mean. Okay. They've left, yeah. So hey, Pietro, I'm not talking nonsense there. You see what I mean? That's me coming. I wasn't educated over here. But that was a lady I used to go out with whose daughter, UJ, and my second year university. And she had the dropout rate was something like 60%. In fact, a couple of things, my daughter-in-law, my sister's husband's, not her daughter, it's his daughter from a previous marriage, was saying something to the same tune. The dropout rate is actually horrendous because they're coming in with people trying to push them through matric because it looks good the more pass you get, with very low pass rates. I think they even help them. I don't know. I can't say that. I didn't go to school here. And then their knowledge inadequate to cope with the first university. So in the end, of course, the dropout rate is tragic. And apparently they're queuing up. Let's say there's a heck of a lot of space. It's quite scary, this, to go for physics and not a lot for, I don't know, maths or chemistry or computers or whatever. And they've all booked up. They're in the queue here. Apparently, it's true, scary. And there's a few open left for history, so move into the history queue. So whole life-changing study experience is made up because the computer one's taken up. The history's got a few vacancies left. That is scary, but that's the way it is for me. But yeah, it's you've got to have some basic knowledge. We're all clear on that. Look right, left, and then you've left after 1 month. Getting your point. But Pietro, have you had experience of any kids at university, same sort of problem with the dropout rate? Because apparently it's a serious concern. My main concern is the complete utter lack of basic arithmetic, not maths, arithmetic at matric level. Looking me aghast. Do you think 50% per year return invest is that good or bad? And they look at me blankly. And then they've got to cope with the economics of life. And they haven't got that basic with the matric. Yeah, so that's the part that worries me. You have to be adept at integral calculus, but you need the basics, different percentages, different interest and compound interest, and things like that. 60%, well, there you are. So it's not me talking off the top of my head. It's pretty scary. And the trouble is now, with so much unemployment, the employer can start picking on guys with degrees because they got matrics for Africa, and a lot of them don't seem to have much value. I spoke about it too. Better move on that one. But yeah, so yeah, it's pretty scary. Yeah. And you start looking at some of these Google employees, and then sure, if you want to feel stupid, go and start speaking to those guys. Some of them are brilliant. Okay, so I'll move on from that. Anything I've said so far, have we covered? Anyone want me to go over again? You're not sure about cutting a position, specifications, dollar index. Everyone know how to your charts, set up your charts, go to properties, and then fill in the colors you like. Looking over there, if you're happy with it, say okay. Once you've okayed it, right click. Don't forget, save it. Save the template. It's very time consuming when somebody calls up and gave me a bad bloody thing yesterday. And I'm about to go in the training room. I haven't got time verbally to explain how to get your charts up and running. You clearly hadn't. I can't do it on the live chat. It takes a phone call. Anyway, we should have done that in platform training anyway, or in some of the classes. I haven't got time. I even gave a number of Clinton because he'll help you out. He gave me a thumbs down. But expect me, it's like some say, WhatsApp me how to trade. I mean, you know, no, I don't know what to say, or I'll say too much. It's terrifying, you know. Help me. Okay, so you save it, put your name and save the templates. If something goes wrong, you just right click, go to template, and you pick up what you saved, and away you go. This is the 50-day simple. That's the 200 simple, and the black one's the 100. They're all important, and the 10 I like, so you can put that on as well. 10, 50, 100, and 200 moving averages. If you want to put the other on, you can, but don't clutter your chart, and it'll help you tremendously. Yes, there is, Sans. It's called platform trading. I'll put it up for, I can't know, where is it now? Maybe I can copy it. It's platform trading. Yeah, better idea. What you do is you go to the portal. The portal, you know, as in the portal. When you've sold the product, or you've just opened an account, you even bought the product, the account manager should have told you about the portal. On the portal is number one, your account manager's details. If you're still not sure how to open the account, go and speak to him. Okay, he'll help you there. That's the intermediate process. go down the whatchamacallit, go down the menu till you get to trading experience. Click on trading experience, and platform training times ID is all there. That's the best way to do it. You can't come to trading room and learn all about this sort of stuff if you don't even know how to operate the platform, because I can't operate the platform for you. We haven't got a Cat 2 license, so I'm not going to be able to trade on your behalf. So I can say, buy the CSJPY at 138, stop loss 137. Risk is $10 or 170 Rand a micro. I can do that. You've got to understand how to work out your risk and how to place the trade and work out your volume from that. And from that, you'll go to platform trading. Most companies don't do that, so you can work it out yourself. We provide that service. So anybody not sure of that portal, trading experience on the menu, click on there and you'll see the platform trading ID and times and all that. Okay. Oil. It's not clear to say so. Again, somebody might help you. It's going to go to oil now. Here's a little tip. Not looking at correct information, just go to the 4-hour and back to the 10-hour, just make all information updated. I've made that mistake, not so much now in the past. I'm going on information, the data hasn't come through yet. It's all incorrect. You look a bit silly. Right, WTI, I don't see a trade at the moment, I'll be honest. Buy or sell, I don't know. Let's just crunch it a bit. And my problem is this, will it take this out? How far away is it? It's 65 cents away. The stop, if you put it there, is 140 cents. So you're risking 2 to make 1. It's crazy. If it breaks through there, goes back, tests it, and confirms down, we can look at the sell, stop loss there, take it down here. At the moment, you can't get the mass to sell it. Would you buy it? Well, it's on support at the moment, but it's so side with the liquid trading and mentioned there because the markets are closed in America. There's not enough action we do it. Unless you think, I don't see what upside you've got, but that's only $33. That's not going to cut it. What are we on the daily? It's not going to cut it. So you're going to look at somewhere there to make it worth your while. 870 with a $4 stop down there, then you could look at it. But is it going to get there? It's got to get through that hurdle. It's got to get through that hurdle. It's got to get that hurdle. By that time, economic fundamentals stuff it up. There's far too many mines in the field there if you start walking across by buying or selling at the moment. Okay, which is where sell the master against you. There's no confidence it's going to break through. It might come down, bounce, go up again. And there's no confidence you're going to decent enough meat on the bones on the target to make the stop worthwhile, to make the trade worthwhile. And if you trade to say, I want to go to $2 or $1 stop, it's too close. You can get stopped out and move down before it hits your target, and even then you be down. So leave it alone. Same applies to Brent, by the way. Does everyone know what WTI is, by the way? Anyone not know what WTI is? And by the way, you say a course, not a course, it's completely free. You go to platform training, it's completely free. And I'll tell you where to get the Zoom figures, the Zoom ID, I mean. Absolutely vital. You cannot train unless you're on top of how to operate the platform. And I'm not going to show you that because I'm busy helping traders. It's not my job. It's the responsibility of the person who's the trader themselves to actually know how to operate the platform. Okay, very important. And never, ever ask a broker, ever, advice when you're doing it on the demo. That's the quickest way to get on the wrong side of it. It's like going up to a lawyer and saying, by the way, can you give me some legal advice to help me out, but don't charge me? No, you're only on live, I'm afraid. Okay, but anyone not know what WTI is? Let's say, oh, we know it's oil, but what do you mean WTI as opposed to Brent? Anybody not know that? Because this is quite important. I won't teach this in the classes. This is quite important if you don't know. If you do know, if you don't answer, I'm assuming you do know. And not sure. There you are, Marie. Right, Brent is North Sea oil, and it's the most expensive because the quality is higher. It's also extremely expensive to get at. You have to dig a hole in terrible weather right down the North Sea. The next one is Western Texan Intermediate. I know it says Texans, that's where all the oil started in America. We're all over the place now. So it's definite euphemism for a medium quality, slightly below Brent oil. So it's slightly less expensive than Brent, and it's basically American oil. Then you go to the Saudi oil, which is a normal crude, slightly less quality, so slightly cheaper price. But the beauty with that crude oil in Saudi is the fact for them, the expense of getting out of the ground is absolute peanuts compared to the Americans, of course, North Sea. So they're smiling all the way because their profit is horrendous because their costs of getting it out are pretty small. Okay, so you get the cheapest form because the quality size is crude, then Western Tex Intermediary, which is the American one, and then the Brent, which is the North Sea. Okay. Well, you know now. Okay. Nice to know the background. I mean, if you made money WI and a clue what it is, I suppose you're happy. But it's professional. Some want to be professional. It's nice to know a little bit what the heck you're dealing with. I mean, can you imagine you're showing off to your friends? Oh, I'm in trading, yeah. I'm in WTI. And they say, what's that? You don't know. You mean instead of getting a street cred, you might get laughed at. You know what I'm saying? I remember the days we used to do JSC shares. And numbers of, I'm in WHL. Great, fantastic. You know, yeah, not too bad, yeah. Good trading idea, great, yeah. And so I said, what's WHL? They looked at me sort of blankly. They didn't know what share or company or anything they're in. They just thought, somebody told me to go into it, so I did, and okay, it seems to be working out. So it's nice to be professional and know why you're doing it. I would say, you're not in the army now, guys. Okay, hope we're all good. Now I want to go back to gold, and you pull back on gold. Now, just hovering. Now, I'm sorry, Farney, I'm going to come to your side. I'm not going to go into it now, but it seems to 9 and 10 seems to be the sort of the lows. I don't think we got there. No, not quite, didn't even quite get there. It's holding its value. Yeah, if we get a better price, let's see what happens tomorrow. If you can get a bit of a pullback to get a decent price, because I see down the line, might take a while, but I see down the line too. Let's say a while, a few weeks maybe. Certainly, if the 25 basis point increase comes up as expected now in February, the FOMC meeting with Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell, chairman of the Fed. It's a good chance he'll be strongly on his way to that. So maybe a month's time to see $2,000, maybe less. Obviously, I don't know, but I see dollar weakness coming down the line, gold going up. I wouldn't be surprised to get back to 100 even lower than that. But at the moment, getting a bit of dollar strength to enjoy the dollar yen.
Okay. Roger, sorry, you're talking about the yen. I see there's a urgent meeting or a meeting on the Bank of Japan tomorrow with regards to their policy. What's your feel or take on the yen?
Right. Okay. Remember, the yen. Japan is one of the most highly indebted GDP to what you call it, to debt. Debt GDP rates in the world. I think it's about 250%. So what they're doing is they're not trying to export their way out of problems. They're buying up bonds and they're offering a slightly better interest rate than the interest rate they've got at the moment because they daren't start putting it up because it will increase the debt. However, because of that situation, although they've been buying up bonds right, left, and center, the yields haven't really been responding too much on the negative side, okay, which haven't really assisted the yen too much, which in theory should be a bit of weakness coming in on it. And that's why it's a little bit artificially, in my opinion, strong. Because remember, the yields and the bonds are in exactly opposite direction. If the bonds go up, the yields go down. If the bond comes off, the yields on that bond go up. Exactly opposite way around. So the bottom line is they're doing some what called financial machination juggling to try and start getting into that debt without having increased interest rates, which is going to increase their debt even more. They're in a bit of a catch-22 situation. And they sold it, I think we all know that, I'll mention it again. It's when they started in the 50s, 60s, more the 60s, you know, with all the watches and Kawasaki's and whatever, coming out cameras, you know. coming out was if you'll get stuck in work 24 hours a day, whatever they do, you know what I mean, will sort of give you security for life. The problem is maybe it's their diet, but they seem to be living longer than everybody else. And as they're getting to old age, they're living longer, and now they're becoming a bit of a weight on the state. But they promise it, so they're keeping to it. So if they can get the exports back up and running, they might sort themselves out. But they do need a weaker yen to do it. So to me, the weaker yen down the line is the way they're going to have to force it somewhere. Because I mean, half the time they're suffering from competition because the other guys are producing good, cheaper prices and good quality stuff because the yen is so bloody strong. So they want a weaker yen. They're between a rock and a hard place. Yeah. Right. And I've been to Japan years ago. Without doubt, it's the most fantastic expensive place I've ever been to. Never seen anything like it. And so unbelievable. Unbelievable. I was in the merchant navy. I was about 21 years of age. And when you go into a port, you actually call a sub, a subscription. They give you, and you say, right, take a sub out in local currency. And in those days, I was on about something like 50 English pounds a week, somewhere around about, a long time ago, my friend, 50 pounds a week. And I took a 20-pound sub out. That doesn't mean sound today, it doesn't mean much, but 20-pound sub was a lot of money then. And the exchange rate was that I got 9,000 yen for it. And they brought in the sub money, and they're all minimum notes for 10,000 yen. So you had to send the agent back to bring small denominations. So I clustering which is, remember, it's 20 quid, it's, you know, it's quite a lot of money. When I say 50 quid a week, what I'm talking about, I think it's, I should know. The hell's that? Not about that's about 2,500 a year. No, what's that? That's 200 rand a month, 200 quid a month. What's that a week? Yeah, about 50 quid a week. So I thought 20 quid. Remember, in a couple of days, we want another one. So, you know, you're going to save money as well. So on the road, clutching my 9,000 yen, went into some pub, before I even ordered beer, I was a bit hungry, I know, ordered some plate of rice. And that's what it was, a plate of rice, a few fragrant stuff. No meat or anything, just a plate of rice and some colorings put on it. And the guy said 2,000 yen. And I thought he meant 200 yen. And of course, he can't speak English, can't Japanese. He said, no, you mean 200. No, 200, 2,000, 2,000. I looked around and said, I can't believe it. So I'm now frightened what the bloody drinks came to. Anyway, cut long story short, the last about an hour, my whole sub was blown. So it was horrendously expensive. So we were political prisoners on that, financial prisoners on that ship in beautiful Japan. For 2 or 3 days we were there. So unless you're the captain, you couldn't really afford it. Remember, I was a second officer. I was a junior officer. I wasn't exactly the galley boy. It was so ridiculous. I could have, but I had money to go home with, and I paid off the ship. So yeah, it was horrendously expensive. And the guys, when they travelled, it's quite a laugh because everything's so cheap to them. They didn't know how to bargain. They got ripped off. Apparently, I wasn't there. I was told in Thailand on the beach in Koh Samui, just for about a week before I arrived there, my girlfriend Ollie at the time. Apparently, someone was trying to sell some stuff to them, and they quoted some sort of ridiculous price, and they didn't argue and paid it. And suddenly these poor guys relaxing on the beach were flooded with these guys trying to sell them something. So yeah, but it's changed a bit now. It's still expensive, but not quite as ridiculous as that. So it's quite amusing. Yeah, so there we are. So we'll see what happens tomorrow in the end. But I still think it's going to have some intervention, so it's got to weaken. It's too strong for them to go forward. Okay, but we shall see. Right, we talked quite a bit. Maybe I'm off the subject. Sorry about that. Trying to amuse you, maybe a bit bored there. But anything else you'd like on a more practical trading level you'd like to ask about? Whilst you're thinking of that, just look at our trades, anything happening on it. AUD, USD, absolutely nowhere. I think all probably the same. Euro CAD, it's in profit. It's about 20 pips in profit. Well, at least that's okay. But at least it's in profit, not shooting the lights up. Again, no surprise there. Dollar yen's about 40, 45 in profit. Okay, that's fine. And that's all we've got at the moment. I'm not sure I'm really pushing anything more at the moment until we get the Americans running again. We've got a couple of things under our belt for tomorrow. Okay. But I'm happy, guys, some names there who may be new, who want to ask. I can quickly answer them. Anybody want to ask any quick question? Fellow learned a bit today because she interacted. Any of you guys, Tony's learning a hell of a lot because he interacts. And you guys want to ask anything you're not sure of? You know how to cut a position out. Hey, Scott, which you did before. You know how to get the margin and that from specifications. You've all got your dollar index and your yields. And you know how to save your charts, the basics. We do it every time. It can take long. Hope you're covered on that. Okay, well, I know you know the score, Brad. I'm trying to get the other newer guys who need the trading, who really need the knowledge more to interact so I can assist them. That's why I get Anna Marie and Brady and Coyote and Farney and these guys doing okay. Well, certainly knowledge-wise, background, so I don't tell me about that, but to doing sort of understanding because they're getting stuck in and learning. So don't forget to do that. Okay, right. If that's all, then we can then wrap it up. Unless I'll give you one more moment. Anyone, any questions, or should we wrap it up and catch each other tomorrow?
Thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good evening, gents and traders. Roger.
Fantastic. Okay, thanks, Farney. Thank you, everyone, and get you tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Cheers and cozy.